The greatest drummers in rock history became legends because the spotlight found them at exactly the right moment. But behind the scenes, another group of drummers was playing at that same level. Sometimes quietly surpassing it, and history barely wrote their names down. These are 12 drummers nobody remembers who somehow played better than the legends. If the musicians who shaped rock from the shadows interest you, consider subscribing so you never miss a video like this one. Number 12. Carmine Appice. Long before John Bonham became the gold standard for hard rock drumming, Carmine Appice was doing it first. With Vanilla Fudge in the late 1960s, Appice brought a thunderous orchestral approach to the kit at a time when most rock drummers were still playing in the shadow of pop. His bass drum technique, his use of open tuning, and his sheer physical force behind the kit influenced an entire generation. Bonham himself reportedly acknowledged Appice as an early inspiration. Yet his name rarely surfaces when people debate the greatest rock drummers. The history books gave him a footnote. He deserved a chapter. Number 11. Billy Cobham. By the early 1970s, Billy Cobham had quietly become one of the most technically advanced drummers alive. His work with the Mahavishnu Orchestra, particularly on the album Spectrum released in 1973, left musicians openly stunned. Cobham played with a ferocity and precision that seemed physically impossible, blending jazz, rock, and fusion into something entirely new. He was ambidextrous, playing a kit configured for right-handed players while leading with his left hand. Fellow drummers studied his recordings the way music students study classical scores. Outside of jazz and fusion circles, though, his name remains nearly invisible. That invisibility is one of the great injustices in the history of American music. Number 10. Cozy Powell. In the mid-1970s, Cozy Powell was producing some of the most explosive drumming in British rock. His work with Jeff Beck on Blow by Blow and with Rainbow through the late 70s placed him at the absolute center of hard rock drumming. He had tremendous power and an instinct for arrangement, knowing when to push and when to pull back in a way that younger, flashier drummers never mastered. Powell held a chart position in Britain with a solo single called Dance with the Devil in 1973, which was essentially a drum showcase. His career stretched across Rainbow, Black Sabbath, Emerson, Lake and Powell, and more. Precision, drama, taste. He had all three. Number 9. Tommy Aldridge. Played double bass drums with a ferocity that rattled walls, and he did it with a control that made it look effortless. Tommy Aldridge first gained serious attention playing with Pat Travers in the late 1970s, where his explosive fills and locomotive tempo held down some of the hardest rock being recorded at the time. He later joined Ozzy Osbourne and then Whitesnake, appearing on albums that sold millions, yet his name consistently got lost behind the band names on the marquee. Aldridge was one of the first rock drummers to play barehanded, abandoning drumsticks during live solos. That image alone should have made him iconic. Somehow, it never quite did. Number 8. Ainsley Dunbar. Fired. That is the word that defined Ainsley Dunbar's most infamous moment, and the cruelty of it was extraordinary. Dunbar had spent years as one of the most sought-after drummers in rock, playing with John Mayall's Bluesbreakers, Frank Zappa, Jefferson Starship, and others. When he joined Journey in the mid-1970s, he helped build the band's sound from the ground up. Then, just as Journey was on the verge of commercial explosion, he was replaced. Don't Stop Believin', Open Arms, all of it came after Dunbar was gone. He helped lay the foundation for one of the best-selling bands in American rock history and received almost none of the reward. Few stories in rock are that quietly brutal. Number 7. Michael Shrieve. "20 years old. That was his age when Michael Shrieve took the stage at Woodstock in August of 1969 and delivered one of the most celebrated drum solos in rock history. His solo during Soul Sacrifice with Santana stopped the crowd and stopped time. Yet when people list the legendary performers of Woodstock, Shreve's name often disappears behind the larger mythology of the event itself. He was a drummer of remarkable sensitivity, someone who understood dynamics and space in a way that most hard rock players ignored entirely. His career with Santana through the early 1970s produced recordings that still reward close listening. He deserved the monument. History gave him a passing mention. Number 6. Danny Seraphine. For roughly 15 years, Danny Seraphine was the engine inside one of the most commercially successful bands in American rock.
Down the street one day, we hit the push and shove.
Chicago's catalog from the late 1960s through the early 1980s exists in large part because of Seraphine's driving, jazz-informed drumming. He studied formally, absorbed big band traditions, and then translated all of it into a rock context with unusual sophistication. The band moved enormous amounts of records. The critics praised the horn section. Almost nobody talked about the drummer holding the whole thing together from behind. Seraphine was eventually dismissed from Chicago in 1990, a decision that most serious musicians found baffling. His contributions to that catalog are documented in sound, even if his name rarely accompanies the praise. Number 5. Mitch Mitchell. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Mitch Mitchell was playing alongside arguably the most gifted rock guitarist who ever lived, and he matched Jimi Hendrix step for step every single night. His work with the Jimi Hendrix Experience was not supportive drumming. It was a full conversation, jazz-influenced and structurally adventurous, pushing Hendrix in real time rather than simply keeping the beat beneath it.
You don't cover me, I don't cover brother. You got a new groove, I'm like a leather.
Mitchell drew deeply from jazz, particularly from Elvin Jones, and that influence gave the Experience recordings a rhythmic complexity that set them apart from nearly everything else being made in the late 1960s. After Hendrix died in 1970, Mitchell never again found a stage that matched what he was capable of. He passed away in 2008. The caliber of his playing still does not get the recognition it deserves. Number 4. Sib Hashian. Boston's debut album, released in 1976, became one of the best-selling debut records in rock history. That thunderous, perfectly locked sound, the one that made the record feel like it was coming through the walls, was Sib Hashian behind the kit. He played with an authority and a physical presence that matched Tom Scholz's enormous guitar production without ever competing with it. Hashian left the band by the early 1980s and largely stepped away from the spotlight. His contributions to two of the most enduring records in American rock received almost no sustained recognition. Sib Hashian passed away in 2017 while performing on a music cruise. He was playing until the very end. Number 3. Richie Hayward. Lowell George, the creative force behind Little Feat, once said that Richie Hayward was the best drummer he had ever heard. That statement deserves some weight, because George was a man who had played with some of the finest musicians in American rock. Hayward's style defied easy category. He played behind the beat with a loose, swampy authority that gave Little Feat recordings a feel no other band could replicate. It was not just technique, it was personality translated directly through the drums. Little Feat developed a devoted following but never fully crossed into the mainstream consciousness. Hayward went with them into that overlooked space. He passed away in 2010, remembered warmly by musicians who understood exactly what he was. Number 2. Denny Carmasi. Montrose in the early 1970s was one of the hardest-hitting bands in American rock, and Denny Carmasi was a central reason why. He later moved to Heart, where his playing on albums like Bad Animals helped return the band to the top of the charts in the mid-1980s. Carmasi hit hard, stayed precise, and understood how to serve a song without sacrificing power. He was the kind of drummer that made singers and guitarists sound better simply by playing beneath them. That quality, knowing how to elevate everyone else on the stage, is one of the rarest skills in rock. It is also, unfortunately, one of the least visible. His work stretched across decades and across some of the most memorable records of the era. Number 1. Bill Bruford. He walked away from Yes at the peak of their success in 1972, choosing instead to join King Crimson, one of the most demanding and unconventional bands in progressive rock. That decision alone tells you something about Bill Bruford. He was never chasing recognition. He was chasing the most interesting musical problem he could find. His work with Yes King Crimson, and later his own group Bruford, established him as one of the most thoughtful and inventive drummers in the history of British rock. He explored odd time signatures long before they became fashionable. In 2009, he retired from performing entirely, saying he had said everything he wanted to say behind a drum kit. a quiet exit for a quietly extraordinary career.